can then we want to close this. Oh yeah. Okay.
You can share the screen, Maharaj.
Yeah, okay.
You are a co-host now.
Working
Yes.
on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we also want to. I had a very, very hard day, and I took a short nap, but I fell asleep. So I'll sleep for 20 minutes, but it turned into 40 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we're continuing with the nectar of instructions. Here we are with the Parthasarthi Foundation and the Anjana Sutta Academy. That's our good selves, bad selves. And today is 25th. Okay. And let's start with the song, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur. Okay, can you see our screen?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. First I'll chant and then somebody can respond. Yeah. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Oyar Sagar, Edase Koruna Kori.
Okay, Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Sagar, Eida se Karna Kori.
Diya Pada Chaya, Shodoheya Maya, Kamara Charana Dori.
Diyapada Chaya, Shodheya Maya, Tomar Charana Dhari.
Chaya Bhaiga Domi, Chaya Doksha Shodi, Daya Guna Deho Dase. Chaya Bhaiga Domi, Chaya Doksha Shodi. Chaya Sata Sangha, Deho Heya Mare, Losechi Sangha. Aikake Amara, Mahi Payabala, Harinama Sankirtane.
Ekaki Aman, Naipaya Bal.
Harinama Sankirtane.
Tumi Kripa Kori, Shadu Bendugia, Deho Krishna Namada.
Tumi Kripa Kari, Shraddha Bindu.
Diya Deho Krishna Namadhane.
Krishna Satamara, Krishna Dikte Paro, Kamara Shwaka Kirache.
Krishna se tumar, Krishna dite paro, tumara shakati ache.
Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna Boli, Daita Bapache Pache.
Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna bole, Daitava pache pache.
Oh, Venerable Vaishnava Thakur, devotee of Krishna, O ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet. Teach me to control the 6 passions, Vachovegam. Rectify the 6 faults. So this is dosha. In verse number 2. Bestow upon me the 6 good qualities. Verse number 3. Offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. Verse number 4. I do not find any strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me this one drop of faith, which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. So he can't do text 7 and 8 by himself. He needs Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me, actually to anyone. I am simply your servant running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Mayatava Pache Pache. So we put together, from the help of devotees, a study guide called Tava Pache Pache. It's available on Amazon. And it came out well. We had help from so many devotees, Radhe Raman, so many. And it's a master's degree level, Bhakti Vaibhava level study of Upadeshamrita. So today, here we are studying Upadeshamrita, and if we go back to our PowerPoint show, Prabhupada with 2 watches. And here's today's verse, which we're going to study today, verse number 4. So I'll chant, and then you respond. Dadati pratagranate
Dadati pratigranati
Guyam akhyati prechati
Guhyam akhyati pritchati
Bhankte bojayate chaiva
Bhukte bhojayate cheva
Sadvedam pratilakshanam.
Shadvidam priti lakshanam.
Okay. Why don't you chant and we'll respond.
Dadati pratigranati
Nadate pratagranate
Guhyam akhyati pritchati
Guyam akyati parikshate
Bhukte bhojayate cheva
Munkte bojayate chaiva
Shadvidam priti lakshanam.
Sadvedam pratilakshanam. Harilila, you chant and we'll respond. Are you there?
Dadati pratigahanati
Tadati pratigranhati
Uyam akhyati pruchati
Guyam akhyati prechati.
Aunque bhojayate chaiva
Bhunte bhojayate chaiva
Sadviddam priti lakshanam.
Sadvedam pratilakshanam. So 6 pushes, and if we control, okay, the translation of this verse, okay. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad, offering prasad, are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So 11 texts in Upadeshamrita, Ekadasi 11. And the very first one, he describes these 6 pushes, which is part of the yoga, describing the yoga shastras and the Bible, the Quran. Every place you find these things are being considered very seriously. In the Bible, it says, if you met somebody who has controlled his tongue, you have met a perfected man. Yeah, okay. So controlling the tongue, the desire to talk, the desire to taste. And of course, tasting leads into agitation of the stomach, which leads to agitation of sexual desires, 1, 2, 3, which takes us to hell. On the other hand, desire to talk leads us, of course, to the mind. And of course, the uncontrolled mind goes to anger. So if we can control these 6 pushes, and here's the test, then you can, wherever you go, wherever anybody you meet, you're qualified to help them to become their teacher. But then he talks about 6 things that will make it difficult: over collecting, desiring too many things, working too hard to get those things, bad association, Yeah. And 6 things that will help us: being enthusiastic, being patient, being tolerant, and giving up a bad association. So association, become qualified to be good association, avoid bad association, avoid bad association. And then text 456, he talks about association. So this is the text we're starting today, 456. Number 4 is, what is association? Is it are you associating with somebody when you're buying something from them? Well, not really. That's just a value given for value received. There's no karma involved in it, very much. And then how to apply this definition of association, not with your family or your business partner, but specifically with devotees. And text number 6, how to apply it specifically with Uttama Adhikari devotee. This is the real essence. Sangha Sanjayate Kama. Our desires and ambitions develop from the company he keeps. So when this came out, for me, it was such a help to be able to distinguish different kinds of devotees in ISKCON and how to associate with them properly. So it's a process, Vaidhi Bhakti, but if we associate with devotees, then pretty much we're almost automatically doing it. And if we don't associate with devotees, and practically speaking, it's very difficult to accomplish that. So, of course, we're all very, very grateful to have this opportunity for this Sangha. Maybe we'll all sit together under a tree in Navadvip sometime, continue with this process. Okay, then 7 and 8 goes back to the process specifically. Here, chant Hare Krishna, worship the deity, read the Krishna book, Nama Rupa Charitari, and that will give you liberation. It'll destroy Tagara Mula Hantri. It'll destroy your simple activities at the root. Okay. And probably seen that. And once you're liberated like that, then you can actually start to take the Raganuga Bhakti. You can start to actually try and follow the humor, the mood of an advanced Vaishnava. Okay. 9, 10, 11, very simple, similar. Where can we follow this Raganuga? Here he's identifying the people and the place, very, very close. What are the places? Well, there's Vaikuntha, there's the material world, and like in Vaikuntha, there's Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, there's Govardhan, and in Govardhan there's Radhakund. Okay, and Radhakund is Radharani. So then go back and looking at the whole thing again from the viewpoint of association. Number 10. Karma Parito Hare. Vigyanis, Vikarmis. The Vikarmis, Karmis, Gyanis, Vimukti Gyanis, Sadhana Bhaktis, Bhaktas, Raja Bhaktas, Gopis, Radha. And this is all the different kinds of association we can take. We can associate with Vikarmis, who do any old damn thing they want to get their results, or Karmis, who follow some religious practice to get their results, and then become Gyanis, or wise people. We can associate with them, and then we can associate with liberated Gyanis, Socrates. Yeah? And then, who else? Devotees, and many devotees in this world, Christians, Jews, Hindus. Yeah? And out of all of those, of course, the Brijvasis, and out of all of those, the Gopis, and out of all of those, Srimati Radharani. And text number 11 then is glorifying her place of association, Radhakund. So everything's very, very, very nice, complete summary. It's an introduction to the whole science of Bhakti Yoga, and Nectar of Devotion, and it is the complete science. We're extracting itself mostly from Srimad Bhagavatam, the Purana. Okay, so let me see if I can do this here. I have toolbars in the way of my thing here. All right. In this verse, Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. Okay. public purpose. Yeah. And he gives basically, like many times, he gives a summary of the text, the translation, like that, with some more details, what each of these particular processes are. And of course, you can read that. But then he goes on and he says, even in ordinary social activities, these 6 types of dealings between 2 loving friends are absolutely necessary. What we're describing is very, very universal. He gives the example. For example, during Christmas in Christian countries, or during, I don't know, Diwali or something, people get together with their near and dear ones, and they buy special gifts that they know will please the person, something they've been wanting, or something which is very dear to them. Chanika Pandit says, there's no expression of love like a gift. You find something that somebody very close to them. I have one devotee I know, I found a pink rhinoceros. It was a child's toy. And he'd been talking about this, and throughout his whole life, he's kept this one thing, always remembering it, and so on. And of course, from the Western country, you have Citizen Kane and the word rosebud. Okay. So yeah, these gifts are very essential in showing affection in ordinary dealings. That's how we communicate. And get buying things and change with people and these kind of things, doing something in your family relations, like even like a business where you do this for me, I'll do that for you. Yeah. But when we start giving gifts, okay, yeah, then it's an expression of affection. And the gift can show how much we know people or how much we don't know them. Okay. And then of course we have special food and all these holidays. And finally, when everybody's together, everybody starts talking confidentially. In the kitchen, the ladies are talking confidentially about what's going on outside with the different guests and the aunts and uncles and who's carrying on this way and that way. And so this is how reality goes on. But in this verse, just the general principles are being discussed. But in the next verse, which these 2 are just tied together, how to apply these with devotees specifically. Okay. So Papa continues, thus, whenever there is a dealing of pity, or love in intimate dealings, these 6 activities are executed. So you don't have to read other books. These books are talking about everything in terms of motivation, social existence. What's the word, the guy's name? Dale Carnegie. How to influence people and win friends. How to win friends and influence people. One of the biggest selling books in the world. So many management courses, they teach on the basis of that. But you find it's the same principles that are being given here. In this verse, Rupa Goswami advises that one should renounce worldly association and keep company with devotees. Sangha Tyaga Sato Vitahe. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established. Well, why is that? To facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. One Vyasa Puja I went through and pulled out the 5 or 6 comments that Srila Prabhupada makes about ISKCON Upadeshamrita, and it made a very, very nice discussion of what his ISKCON was and what he wanted. Yeah, yes, we want results. We want money, we want buildings, we want to distribute a certain quantity of our literature. But he's pointing out that especially ISKCON is established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges. So, in your community, are you exchanging gifts? The life of the Krishna consciousness movement is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON. Because simply by reciprocating in the 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. So I've used this so many times. One time there's big controversy had developed in terms of the community up in Sharanagati up in Canada. And one faction was saying, oh, well, Prabhupada's gone and you can't become fully Krishna conscious. without the association of the Uttamadhikari. And therefore you should go outside of ISKCON and take shelter of this Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasi, and I will take you to him. And so I was caught in between one senior devotee who was preaching these things here in the GBC on the opposite side, who was very strict about the institution. And in the discussion, I was just thinking, I'm never going to have to go outside of Upadeshamrita. And so went back and forth a few times and actually came almost to this exact phrase. And Prabhupada says, simply by reciprocating in these 6 ways with people of ISKCON, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. And on the basis of Shastra, they accepted yes. Okay. But of course, Prabhupada is manifest. In a certain way, he is manifest through his association. And Madhyamadhikaris are taking us to him. So if people can just come to our society and we're following the process and taking initiation, then anybody can become Krishna conscious. So we have to have festivals. We have to introduce people to ISKCON, and we have to fight to make sure the institution is pure. In Bhagavad Gita 262, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, one's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. So learn these verses that are cited, use them in your preaching. Like we say, if you just learn all the citations that the acharyas make in this book, then you'll have powerful collection of verses to illustrate and to focus meditation on in terms of preaching. Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Usually that verse says, by contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment for them. From that attachment, and it goes through a whole series of results, following loss of memory and everything else. So, but here, it's talking about, rather than contemplating the objects of the senses, it's talking about association. I'm getting my clock going here. Okay. So memorize that. Sangat, Sanjayate, Kama. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22, 107. Now who's speaking here? Well, Madhya 19 is Rupa Shiksha, and Madhya 20 through 23, I think, is Sanatan Shiksha. So you're going to see again and again and again so much of our ideas is presented in those 2 things, Rupa Shiksha and Sanatan Shiksha. So organize seminars on those 2 things. Organized seminar. We did Rupa Shiksha, took us 1 week, and so many devotees came and joined and satisfied, and their ideas were clarified. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Shadya Kabunaya Shravan Adi Shuddha Chitte Karaje Udaya. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of all living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, etc., the living entity naturally awakens. So it's already there. Our hope of Socrates said, I cannot teach you anything. I can only help you to remember. Yeah, it's already there. That's our process. So we're teaching. One model of teaching is called sit still while I instill. The student is an empty box. No, the student already knows everything. It's a matter of waking them up. And of course, learning facts and these kind of things is part of the process of waking up. Some people say that we didn't leave the spiritual world. We never had a relationship with Krishna. But here it's saying it's already there in the heart. We have to revive it. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. And Prabhupada talks about even the aboriginal, uncivilized people who are eating dogs in the forest. And I don't know if any of those people barely exist anymore. The culture has become industrialized culture has become so pervading. But anywhere where people are uncivilized or involved in heavy intoxication, stupidity, there's some idea in a human form of life of some kind of cause of all causes, grandfather, son, mother, moon, like that. So pretty much, you know that when you're talking with somebody with a human body, you know, there's some idea is there, and they can't hide that. Well, I don't believe in God. They have some consciousness. Okay. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. I started, when I'm going through the airports traveling, you're going up in the escalator with people on both sides coming down. I started chanting, Krishna. And, it's loud enough where people can hear me. And I'm enjoying myself. And I'm actually thinking, okay, I'm the kirtan leader here. And chanting loud enough so people can hear you, and people look over, and I've never had anybody become angry about it because they're not being very forceful or trying to do something which is not actually natural, and then everybody is hearing the holy names and so on. So we're giving everybody an opportunity to hear. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart, it is already there. And then Prabhupada quotes the first verse from Shikshastaka. Of course, we should memorize this. Nupadeshamrita from the Shikshastaka. The first verse, Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakai Ramachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnam Ritasvaranam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Nijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the first verse is the Hirupadeshamrita, and Chunadapi Sunichena, Tadoriva Sahishnuna, Amanina, Manidena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. That's being quoted. And the other offense, what? Namna Balad, Namna Yasha Balahi Papa Budir. One should not commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting. So those three are being extracted. Chittudarpanamarjanam complete, Tanadapi, Samichana complete. So memorizing. Again, here's our course of memorization from the Shikshastaka, especially this, the first verse, Tanadapi, Samichana, which is the third verse, and then the other one, not committing simple activities in the same for chanting. So it's illuminating especially those three aspects. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditioned life as a result of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. So Rupa Goswami divides devotional service into 6 different things. First off, it frees us from simple reaction and frees us from distress. It frees us from distress, and then it makes everything become auspicious. These two occur in sadhana bhakti: freedom from distress and everything becoming auspicious. And in bhava bhakti, we don't even care about liberation anymore. We're quite happy anywhere and everywhere serving Krishna, and we retain something very, very rare. And you begin to see that around you. It's very rare to find people, who are on the level of association that you can find within Hare Krishna movement. I find the very, very advanced stage of Prema Bhakti. We have Sanandamrita, an impenetrable bliss. Doesn't matter what happens to us, we're blissful. And finally, of course, then we can attract even Krishna. So you see here, and the basis of all these simple reactions is ignorance. Ignorance is the basis of all these simple reactions. It explains in the nectar of devotion. So the first thing is that it cleanses the heart of all the dust. Okay, removes our ignorance. Okay, and then it extinguishes the fire of material existence. We become free from suffering. Okay, and then Shreya Kairava Chandrika, it spreads the good fortune, auspiciousness everywhere, and gives us spiritual enlightenment. Okay. So This is very, very similar to the stages of bhakti. And I think Radha Maharaj has a class on this. You can divide it into the 6 benedictions, 6 results. It's a very, very nice project to investigate how these different results listed in the first verse are actually the different stages of bhakti yoga. Okay, and then Prabhupada goes on to talk about how we've already said that these things are universal to all human beings, but he also says even the souls embodied in lower animals, insects, trees, also become purified and prepared to become fully Krishna conscious. We live in a mobile home. Devotees took won an auction for a small piece of property. It's right next to a mall here, but it's maybe like, I don't know, maybe like a 60-year-old or something. One of these big mobile places you can pull on. And they went through and got it all cleaned up and put in some new carpeting, and so we're staying here, but it's older, and so many ants come in, little ants, and there's one carpenter bee identified by Chaitanya Charitamrita Das that's making a hole. It's a carpenter bee in our railing for our porch. I'm trying to get rid of it, and of course they say you can go and buy this poison and just kill it and kill its babies and everything else. But my goodness, it doesn't bite anybody unless you're really, really aggressive. And so how on earth can I kill this poor creature? But you look around in the media and everything else, and nobody's appreciating that the animals are people, or there's some consciousness maybe from ecological movements, but they don't really identify them as being people, with relationships with their children and all these kind of things like that, even though it may be very simple and very primitive. But by chanting Hare Krishna and getting the association of devotees, what happens? They become prepared to become fully Krishna conscious. So chanting Hare Krishna, keeping the music going, distributing prasadam, creating a psychological atmosphere, then they become prepared to take birth as human beings. Most of the people to whom we're preaching in this Krishna consciousness movement will not become devotees in this lifetime. But the time of death really puts pressure on, and people will grab a hold of what little bit of transcendental experience they have. And it can be very small, one experience, but they'll grab onto that, and then they'll take birth in India next lifetime, or in spiritual community, and then they maybe become fully Krishna conscious. Okay, now what's this one verse here? Now we have a little here. Contributing, Baba says, or distributing the holy name of the Lord, contributing or distributing. The holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contributing or giving charity, the Vedati principle. So simple. Every place, wherever you are, just chant Hare Krishna. Go out and chant. You want to contribute to the book distribution, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And then the holy names will distribute the books. There's some conflicting situation in work. Oh my God, Hare Bhagavan, Hare. Yeah, so many people. The demons will run hither and thither, out to exploit people, cause problems, cause fights, everything else. Yeah. And how can they stop you from saying the names of God at work? And of course, if you want to be more indirect, I am the taste of water. I am among seasons. I am the spring. I am the fragrance of the earth. I am the light of the sun. So many ways, examples Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna of how to think about him. I'm the lion. So many. So we become more Krishna conscious. At any moment we can contribute this perspective. And when you have the proper perspective, solving the problem becomes very easy. How much time do we have here? Okay. I'm running out of time. I had a nice story, but I won't tell it. Nice example. So, contributing or distributing the holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contributing or giving charity. So we have such a gift to give in any situation, the best gift. Oh, I can't give that. Yeah, what do all you need? If you give the holy names and everybody's a perspective and they realize that this entire material world is a disease, an illusion. There's nothing we can give in this material world which is actually of any value if it's not directly related to the holy names. The best thing is we chant Hare Krishna and everybody dies, right? Around us. You kill off everybody in your workplace, you kill off everybody in your family, you kill off everybody on the face of the earth, and bring them back to the spiritual world. You get everybody out of this stupid movie house. In this regard, okay, again, Bhakti Siddhanta has his Anuvriti, second half of every purport, probably gives that more directly. In this regard, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur warns all devotees engaged in broadcasting the Krishna consciousness movements not to speak to the Mayavadis and Karmis. Yeah. And you look at it, it's spread everywhere. Science is Mayavada. And everything's impersonal cause, everything else. Right? So this is association. Don't engage in hearing and chanting. And in the most emphasized aspect is this guyamakiti prichati. Giving gifts, yes. Sharing food, yes. But the real thing is who you're talking to confidentially about different things like that. So don't talk to them confidentially about all these things. Okay, yeah. And so preachers and everybody else applying this in terms of preaching and going out and talking to different people. The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, karma pravartana, follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, carry out the orders of the spiritual master. So we have Prabhupada's orders, so many orders he gives. So many orders. Okay, yeah. And then, of course, he gives us access to the previous acharyas, of the acharyas. And of course, that includes Ramanuja Acharya, Jesus Christ, Buddha, all over the world. He shows us how to relate to them. So this of course, is the last verse. So these verses are so much tied in. There we go. Usahan nishchaya darya tata karma pravartana sangat yaga sato vrate sabir bhaktir prasidati. So the conclusion is we should follow the previous verse. And so many times you see when this verse, when Prabhupada's citing this in different purports, that this is the process. Utsahan nishchaya darya tata karma pravartana. In this way, we shall be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. Of course, whatever service we're developing is eternal. And we take away birth in the material world in the next lifetime, whatever we've developed is there. And we can even take it back to the spiritual world. Oh, when I was in the material world, I developed my service like this. Oh, wow, it's nice. Yeah. Of course, only in the liberated stage. And finally, the devotee who is neither a neophyte or Mahabhagavata, a greatly advanced devotee, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friendships with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous or demoniac. So everything is here in this book. And this, of course, is mentioned again and again and again. And our whole goal, don't forget, our goal is to love Krishna. So many other things. Prabhupada says because they are Mayavadis, they can only see the enormous feet of their Guru Maharaj, because they're Mayavadis. Oh, Guru Dev, you are God, you're all these things. And no, real Guru is just trying to take us to Krishna. There's one friend, there's one lover, there's one parent, there's one child. Oh my goodness, how can that be? But Krishna is so wonderful. And we're all connected to him. But of course, through so many other different devotees and expansions. But it's no problem. Krishna is so powerful, so creative, so wonderful and expanding that, we don't have time for any other friend. And when the cowherd boys come home from playing with Krishna like little children and fighting devils and all these kinds of things, they're covered with dirt and all these things. And the mothers receive them and, give them a nice bath and everything else and wash them all up and so on. and then get them to have some meal because they're starving, everything else. But all the time they want to tell their mothers about Krishna. Mother, today Krishna did that. Krishna did this. We did this and that. And then Balaram talked to Krishna about this, and we fought with Krishna. And if their mothers would say, "Oh, I don't want to hear about Krishna. I want to hear about you," they would be shocked, And the mothers don't want to hear about their sons. They want to hear about Krishna. The prayers by Queen Kunti. She goes through all these things. Who are you? How can I catch you? And she finishes off, Sri Krishna, Krishna Saka, Vrishni, Rishabhavani Drug, something or other. Yeah. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Oh, friend of Arjuna. Well, Kunti knows Krishna. He's her nephew. She knows him personally. But when he's thinking about a certain thing or he's acting in a certain way, then she asks Arjuna, her son, who she knows knows very well. Arjuna, what is Krishna thinking? And notice he's saying that. What does he know about that? So she's very happy to approach Krishna to her son. It gives her great happiness like that and so on. But that's the thing. Love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we make friendship with the devotees. And of course, there are different levels of devotees. And we have to understand that in the next verse. Okay? And then we're merciful to the ignorant. We serve them by giving the innocent people innocent. They're ignorant, but out of innocence, not out of demoniac propensities. And we reject the demons. We avoid the demons. We give mercy to the innocent people. We keep friendship with the devotees, and we love Krishna. So all these things, I don't know the Sanskrit for this, but all these things are here in Upadeshamrita, all the concepts, just probably packing them in. It's like squeezing one more thing into your lunchbox. In this verse, brief mention of making loving transactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and making friendship with the devotees is here. I think the very last thing he says. And again, Rupa Goswami distributed 50% of his life's earnings to Krishna's service, 25% for his relatives, and kept 25% for personal emergencies. This example should be followed by all devotees. Okay, how much of your money do you actually keep? I calculated one time I had to pay for transportation to work. I had to buy a certain kind of clothes for work. I had to live a certain place. I would not really live unless I had to get to work. And the actual amount of money that actually was mine wasn't much. Okay, so 50% of that you give to your preaching work in the temple, developing programs like that. 25% you keep for association with devotees. Someone in the community breaks their arm and devotees come forward and they help. So that's our family. Yeah. And then for personal necessities, okay, that's our core family. This father, mother, children, or someone like that. That's how we look at it. Because it's not being egotistically alone and keeping 25%. No, your own personal necessities is the core family, and 25% for the community for helping out other people, associating, and then 25% for 50% for preaching Krishna consciousness, building temples, printing books. So again, everything is here. In the next verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnava should be served. Okay. So such powerful information. So any final questions or comments? Here we are, jumping across the ocean to deliver the good news to all the conditioned souls.
This is Maharaj. This is not really a question. I wanted to tell you something. When you said something about the ants on your front porch, Shruti was telling that one day she told her daughter, Shraddha, 4-year-old daughter, that, okay, Shraddha, get out of the car. And she said, I don't want to jump there because Krishna's ants are there. So she must have seen those ants and she said, I'm not going to jump on them. I'm going to kill Krishna's ants.
See them as people. It's interesting. Devotees see them as people. But it's interesting. Indians usually see them as female, and American people usually see them as male. I don't know why. You say she, but Americans always think of them as masculine dominated society. Yeah. But when I'm keeping my house very, very clean, then the ants don't come. Very, very few. So maybe I'll have some fruit. I'm cutting some fruit, And I'll wipe it up and you can't see it, but still I didn't wipe it up so much that it's not a little flavor still. So they're like inspectors, cleanliness inspectors. Yeah. And okay, so it's nice having some people in the house. There's Tanu Subramanian in some village in Bengal. He's there. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Such a nice explanation of the nectar of instruction verse. As usual, you had highlighted so many good points that devotee needs to learn. So with this, we'll request all the devotees, if you have any questions, comments, reflections, please raise your hand. So Maharaj is here to help us out.
And of course, about you can any topics at all if you want some other perspective about this verse, but if you have some other question about why the sky is blue, something maybe we can answer some of those also. Om Namo Bhagavate.
Some devotee raised their hand, Maharaj.
Oh,
Madhu Manjari Mataji.
Madhu Manjari from Australia. Okay. Madhu Manjari Devi Dasi, our second disciple. Like that, still alive. What is your comment? Questions? Madhu Manjari Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, pranams. I have a question. It's a little bit, as you said, a general topic. It's regarding to the control of the senses, in the sense that it is difficult, I would say. We cannot stop the interaction between the senses and the object of the senses. So even as a devotees, we have that dynamic in our service, in our interactions, so that it's implicit. So what is the safe way to interact? Understanding also that the nature and the object of the senses, they have their properties coming from Krishna, and Krishna, we need to see Krishna everywhere. So how we can talk about control of the senses?
In the very first verse, it says, Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, and this includes all the senses. And Prabhupada says, the artificial process of mauna, not talking, may be helpful for some time, but it ultimately it proves to be a failure. I don't know if you know this, there's one mudra where you cover your eyes. Okay, now I'm not interacting with the sense object. You close your nose. Now I'm not interacting with the smell. And you pet your lips and you cover your ears. You can try that there. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, so we can, separate ourselves from the sense objects, and sometimes it's good. I mean, for example, there's something very, very nasty you don't want to see. And so you look away. Prabhupada said sometimes you may have some very bad smell or something which, some very stimulant. You're walking in the street and they're blowing out some very stimulating smell of cooking flesh or something which the senses may react to. So Prabhupada said you can turn your head to the side and spit. Yeah. And I say it works. It blows that experience off the tongue and everything else like that and so on. So yeah, there are techniques of disconnecting our senses with the sense objects, and we should use them and practice them, especially in the beginning stages. But as we become more advanced, then the Upadeshamrita says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtena matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te savasitaha. 6:7:11 or 7:14 or 7:7. So again, essential verse that Krishna is everywhere, and Prabhupada uses this verse exactly for that point. And he uses the example of a dictaphone, a machine. Okay. So yeah, as we become more purified, then we can see how everything can be used in Krishna's service. We start to see that things fall in different categories. These are objects. We have bicycles, we have skateboards, we have motorcycles, we have cars, we have trains, we have planes, we have ox carts, we have our feet, we have shoes. Hey, these all fall in the same category. These are categorically things for transportation. So how do we use them? To going to the holy places, to going to places for Sankirtan, to going to places to acquire things for the worship of the deity. And I think Upanuga Siddhanta, he's here, he used to do these car pujas where people would come and line up in the temple and have the coconuts stacked outside. And then Saturday morning, maybe 25 Hindus coming with their new car, and doing pujas. And okay, but they would make a Krishna conscious experience by people making the promise. For example, okay, we're only going to bless your car if you promise never to transport meat, fish, and eggs. And so some of the Hindus may go away in frustration or anger. Other ones would say, "Oh, all right, okay." Yeah. So that's the process, and how to understand how to use everything in Krishna's service. It's right there also in the purport. It's text number 3. Prabhupada says, by associating with devotees who are in Krishna consciousness, we learn the art of using everything for Krishna. Of course, it's there in the Shastras also, which is devotees, associating, but very practical in our practical life. We begin to learn how to use things for Krishna. One class, I did this sometimes in Argentina. I asked how many of the ladies used what's it called, maquillera, eyebrow pencil,
Mascara.
and they're all smiling. And I know many ladies actually just don't have much in the way of eyebrows, and so if you don't use that, then it looks kind of spooky. It's like there's no eyebrows. Okay, so then I asked the men how many of them use makeup, and they're laughing, and nobody raised their hand. It's like, I don't know if Hari Lily uses makeup. Yeah. So then as a lady in Krishna consciousness, you associate with ladies, you understand how much to use and things like that. And okay, this is proper. So associating with devotees and taking gurus on different levels and from the Shastras, and then eventually we can understand how to use everything for Krishna. And ultimately, as we become purified, Krishna in our heart. He told Mother Yashoda, take care of the milk on the stove. Don't continue giving me your milk. And that's right there in the purport. Prabhupada says that. Okay. Krishna will give us the advice if you become purified, which to do, what to do. So, is that some help? Are you going to engage the whole world in Krishna's service?
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Everybody should watch out now. Mother Manjari's the new goddess Durga. Okay. Yeah.
Mihika.
Yes. Okay, we have here who is that? Mihika. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the explanation on verse 4 of NOI. Maharaj, I have a little related question. My question is that when we go outside, especially in school, when we go sit, there's a lot of strong smells that which are very unpleasant, like different types of food which we don't eat or some. So how my nose is very sensitive to those things. So how prevent from going wow, how should we prevent that to from getting ourselves too sensitive to those smells?
Again, basically the same question. Again, if you're when I was in school, the primary school, everything, there was basically 2 groups of people: those who ate in the school cafeteria and paid a certain amount of money, and those who have brought their lunch in the bag, and there was the pavilion outside to sit there, and people would pull out their different odd things, and chicken legs, all this kind of stuff, and and for a devotee, because a devotee, you know what that was? It's a chicken. Chickens are nice. They're friendly. You can have chicken for a pet. Somebody else pulls out the leg of a dog. It's a roasted dog leg. Yeah. Oh, and so how to avoid these things? And again, it's exactly the same answer. I know one devotee was walking with Gunagrahi Maharaj in Los Angeles, and the beaches there are tremendous beaches in Los Angeles, so long, Huntington Beach, and just, thousands of people are out there in the summertime and so on. And of course, they're dressed in a very, very scanty, minimal fashion, and trying to exhibit, their sexual features, even multiplying them. And so this devotee was walking along the beach with Gunagrahi Maharaj. He said, Maharaj, how can you even be here and this and that? And how do you avoid this agitation? And he said, don't look. So yeah, these things are going on around us, but are we entertaining them? Are we looking at them? We have some free will. So you just don't focus on it, don't look on it, and try and maybe seat yourself with some place where even some people are vegetarian or this and that. So that's the first thing, is just, try to situate yourself in a situation where you're not being confronted by those things. And then after that, just chanting Hare Krishna, focusing on what you're eating and everything else. And then of course you have to develop philosophical perspective. And you understand that all these animals who are being slaughtered, it's not because Krishna's not in control. They're getting that because they deserve it. One phrase in Spanish, what is meat? Meat is butcher plus karma. Carcinero con karma. Yeah. Carne es carcinero con karma. Yeah. Meat is butcher plus karma. That's what it is. So the animals that are getting it, and whatever we're getting, we deserve. And it's to educate us, to teach us at heart. This is what you did to other living entities. This is what it feels like. And as devotees, of course, some of it's going on. We're in an environment. If you go to India, then so many of these nasty things are just not there. And so many different places where we can avoid these things. We can go to Satyaloka. We can stay in the mode of goodness, if we want to. And if we're there for preaching, then we realize, okay, that's why I'm here. And these bad things are going on, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to preach. Krishna's put me here. Okay. And then we can find some way to try and communicate. I know so many times other people are influenced because they see. One time I was on the airplane, and the international airplane, and they're going along asking everybody, what do you want? Pig or chicken? Pig or chicken? Pig or chicken? Yeah. But I went ahead and ordered FPML, fruit plate meal. You tell the people on the airlines, I want FPML. And they punch it in and they say, oh, I took it. What is that? Fruit plate meal, FPML. It works sometimes. So then the stewardess brought it back and she said, oh, did you order a special meal? I said, yes. And it looked so beautiful. The colors were, everything were there. And there's a real big kind of innocent black guy on the aisle seat opposite to me. He looked over and he said, I want that. And the stewardess looked a little embarrassed, and she said, well, you've got to order it first, So yeah, people see you're eating very, very nice vegetarian things. They look better and they're nice. And of course, even sharing and stuff. And then you're preaching there, So that's the basic principle. Have nice prasadam, focus on that. And then realize that people around you are getting the reactions that they deserve. It's a stimulus for you to try and smile at them, have a good comportment, become friends with them, explain things, and find a way to get it across. Until you become very, very expert in preaching in your environment, then you teach younger devotees how to do it, how to carry on. I can tell you how to preach in the scientific atmosphere, but I can't tell you how to do it in a modern primary school. You've got to become guru. Okay.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else has question? Please raise your hand if you have questions. Jai. So Maharaj, we don't have any additional question at this time. Do we have your permission to conclude the call now?
Yes, and thank you very, very much. And let's see, I did 2 weeks in a row because Srinath Krishnadas is in Vrindavan. But next week he'll be presenting. So next week we'll start on text number 5. Let's go Gadati, no, let's go Tanama, no, I forgot what it is. Anyway, I'll come back. Krishnaki Yasva Giritam Manasa Didate. So everybody read that. It's very short. Read it. And then by next week, then Srinath Krishnadas will go through and talk about it some more also. Okay. So thank you very much for your association. It's saving our life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, for Marthade Foundation and giving your Vani association to all of us. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. See you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Bo.